What's up everybody, John from Homesteading Farm here. In today's video, we are going to start carving a chainsaw carved bear for my mother-in-law. So Joanne, this one's for you. So this is going to be a housewarming gift because the mother-in-law house is all done, which is very exciting. Very happy about that. So right now I have a log that is just off camera, and what I need to do is I need to tip it up and get it standing up straight so I can start carving it. So let me show you that. So this is the log right here. It's a tulip log, and what I'm going to do is I got this little manual grapple for my birthday. Thanks everybody. So you can see that right over my left shoulder there. So I'm going to use that to pick up this log and stand it up. So you can see it's got a nice big base, but it's also small enough. I think that's only like a 5-foot log, and that's sort of the size bear that I think we decided on. So gonna get that all set up and start carving. Also see how these little grapples work. I mean, you know, log tongs, log grapple, whatever you want to call it. We'll see how it goes. All right, so it's now standing. I'm sorry if there's wind, I can't control that. And it's just like there's so much wind. Anyway, so I wanted to get this on top of this pile of 4x4s so that I had it higher up. But this will actually be okay. And honestly, it may seem like more work, but usually when I have to tip a log up like this, I have to lay it flat down and then get one side of the pallet forks up and then gingerly lift it until it gets there, and then just sort of leave it. And it's difficult to get it in the exact right spot, because when you tip it up, sometimes you tip it up and it'll fall over on the other side, or it'll roll. And I've tried it with the chain or different things. This was actually pretty easy to use, so I'm very happy with how that came out. I got to figure out a way though to get it higher up. And I'm thinking maybe if I take the forks, like the actual tines, off, and then maybe I can hook it on the top. I need like a shorter bit of rope or something that I can use that's also like always connected to it, easier to put on. Anyway, next step here is I'm going to take off some bark, and to do that I use my little hatchet and some felling wedges to just wedge the bark off. Luckily this is tulip, so the bark most of the time comes right off. Hopefully that's still the case here. So this may seem like a waste of time to some people to remove the bark like this, but in the bark is where most of the dirt is. And I mean, you can see like, well, it's down here, but like there's a ton of dirt all caked in it. And if you don't know this, one of the biggest ways to dull a chainsaw is by hitting dirt. And I think it's just because they have all those little, you know, dirt is basically just little tiny pieces of rocks. And so it really dulls your saw. And, you know, one of the other things is once you get this bark off, you get a real feel for where all the divots and the texture of the log is. So this may take an extra 10 minutes, but it's going to save me in sharpening time. It's also going to help me really take the time to formulate where the bear is going to go, where his head's going to be. And since this is going to be a sign holding bear, I think it's extra important to know where everything's going to be. All right, so now we got a fully naked log. Love a good naked log. And the sun came out, which is nice, because it is like just a little bit too chilly for just a sweatshirt and pants. But now it's time to throw on the chaps, get the saws started, start carving this baby. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this down because you can see this is on a pretty good slant going up. I'm gonna cut this probably about right here, because I think that'll be a good size bear for Joanne also. And then I'll start carving the head, sort of lay out where everything's gonna go. And I think this will probably be the front. I think this is the widest part of the log right here. So that'll be nice. Make a nice chubby sign holding bear. Let's get going. All right, so we got his head mainly blocked out. Well, his head is all blocked out. So you can see, so his muzzle is gonna end right about here. And so this way, I know that his hands, or his paws, are gonna come out that far so that I know there's gonna be plenty of room so I can swoop down and give him a nice chunky place where he can hold his sign. So coming out pretty well so far. Have only used MS-170 and my big guy, 372 XP. He is coming right along, and I should be able to finish this today. So that'll be good. Happy homecoming, Joanne. Woo! All right, so one of the stressful times for me when making a sign bear is making sure that I get the right spacing for where his hands are gonna be. So you can see if we look at it from the side, so now his hands are gonna be nice and far out from his muzzle, and there's enough space here so that the top of his paws are going to be right here. So this is the furthest out, and then we can give him a nice like 1.5 we can give him a nice thick set of hands right up front, paws, and then we can have the sign sit inside there, because one of the tough things about this is if this is not far enough out, then his paws are really thin, and that just makes me kind of nervous. I'd rather have it nice and thick. And since this is for Joanne, I want to make sure it's good. By the way, if any other of my family is out there and wants a bear, maybe for Christmas or something, feel free to let me know. Anyway, so now I'm going to shape the arms down. And so, you know, this is at a pretty steep angle right here, so we're going to cut this down a little bit. But again, it's one of those things where I'd rather go slow and make some extra cuts rather than mess up. You know, you can always cut more off. It's difficult to put more on. All right, so this is the basic outline. So I made him a little bit too thick, so I'm gonna need to cut him down a little bit because it just looks a little off. But he's coming along, got his ears rounded in, got his head shape really cut in, so I need to take him down like just a little bit on the outside. Otherwise, his arms are gonna be sticking out an awful lot. You know, so it'll probably come like here and then go down like that. So we'll take like, you know, a couple inches off on either side. But this is coming together really well, and so this is going to be how thick his paws are, so it'll be a nice inch and a half, something like that. And then I'll taper his chest in a little bit more, and then make a big cut where the sign's going to sit, and then going pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with how this is coming out so far. Proportions look good to me, and we'll leave a little bit of a stump base down at the bottom, probably 2 or 3 inches, because I think his legs are probably going to end right about there. So maybe a little bit more than that, but it'll be good. He's coming out cute. All right, so here we are at the front of this guy. He is ready to get the sign holder section ready. So this is about 1 inch, this line. I don't know if you can see it, this pencil line right here. It's about 1.5 inches from his belly. So that should give enough space for an 1-inch thick sign to hang down a little bit. And so I'll also cut like a little bit on this side to give his mitts a little more room. And then once we get that going, we'll start doing some more sanding on him with the chainsaw and just kind of smoothing out some of the edges, smooth out his muzzle, and just kind of get him more shaped in. All right, so obviously you can see this is still messy, but I just wanted to get it started. One of the important things is getting the depth on this right. So take it slow. I'll do sort of the same sort of thing where I make a straight line and then come in on an angle, and that sort of removes, you know, that little portion. It's tough to get an exact flat line with a chainsaw, But if you keep doing that, and you think about it, you know, you're kind of taking out triangle chunk like this, and then you're left with a triangle chunk over here, so you can kind of do the same thing on that side. A little difficult when you have bear belly in the way, but here we go. All right, so here's where we're at so far. So he is all blocked out, and he is a chubby bunny. So just gotta finish up his feet. Gotta make a couple more cleaning up cuts on his back. Maybe cut his belly in a little bit. I mean, the most important look is from here, but I just want it to look good for Joanne. So yeah, he looks better on this side. I think he just needs, yeah, so his belly sticks out a little bit more on this side, and there's a cut on the back to make. All right, so he is now basically all set and ready for fur, which is both my favorite and least favorite part of carving bears, because especially with a bear this size, it's going to take a while, and it's really forearm, that was an awkward moment, it's really forearm intensive, so it's going to take a lot of like little motions with the chainsaw, and it just gets tiring. But so it's also my favorite part because that's when this thing really comes alive. You know, so right now he's just carved into the wood and he just kind of looks like a thing. But once he gets the fur, he really looks like a bear. So I'm very excited. I think he's come out great. I'm gonna fur him up, and then I guess we'll have to bring him up to the house and see if Joanne wants him to be a brown bear or a black bear. Let's go! All right, so he's all furred up. I don't know if you can see how red my hand is, but ouch. Ouch. All right, and yeah, he's looking mighty fine. So he is just about ready. So last thing I'm gonna do, I don't know. I need to lower that, but no, I think that'll be okay. Well, actually, maybe I should lower that a little bit. We'll see. I'm trying to figure out if I should make this, the fitment for the sign, a little bit lower. But I think it'll be okay. And we can always adjust that afterwards. So next thing I'm going to do, just add some tree details to the bottom here. I think that just adds a little bit of extra interest down at the bottom. And then he is going to come upstairs, up to the house rather. Well, look how nice and autumn it is out today. Hello, son. Haven't seen you in a while. All right, so just gonna add the tree detail, then I'll bring him up. I softened his muzzle up a little bit, and then I'll add in the nose, and maybe I'll do a little split for his mouth here. I don't know, you know, I've had some trouble figuring out exactly how to do mouths, and I'm honestly just coming around to getting a rounded muzzle. I usually do a real square one, but I think this is coming along nice. Do some final finishing on it, put some eyes in there, and he is just about done. I think he's looking really good. Hope Joanne likes him a lot. Okie dokie, so it is now Thursday, and he got his face all done. See, we got this nice big nose here, his little mouth right here, and we got his, obviously, 2 eyeballs right there. So we were waiting until Joanne had picked what color she wanted him, meaning brown, like burnt, or black, like those guys right there. So she wants brown, so now it's time to light him on fire. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little torch, and I'm gonna torch his nose, his ears, right around his eyes, and the rest of his muzzle, just because I'm gonna be using the big torch for his body and everything else, and I just wanna make sure I get the details in first with this. All right, and there you have it. Mr. Bear is all done. I think he's coming out looking great. That is a nice looking bear. And I think Joanne's gonna be very happy with him. But overall, I think he looks great. Very happy with how he came out. And that's about it. That's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.